Welcome back, everybody. Hello, hello. We got Jason and I here today. We're gonna go and talk about the grind. Huh? How about the grind? What's where we're in it right now? New year. How's it going, Jason?
Doing awesome, man. Doing awesome. Living the dream, like you like to say. It's been, like you said, a little bit of a roller coaster up and down. You kind of have like that New Year lull going down, and then it's like, okay, activities and action and everything else starts picking up after that, and it's like, all right, buckle up, Buttercup.
Yeah, man, that's it. And I definitely feel that. Yeah, I would say almost like one of the worst ideas business wise that we had was we planned a Disney trip. I just got back from last night. It was Friday to Tuesday. It was a great time. We stayed with some families. We all brought the kids, and we brought a big Airbnb and did Disney. It was fun. The point though was right after the new year, you need to come in with steam, and that was hard to interrupt that steam. I mean, nothing gets me off track. I'm good. I'm back. But I could definitely say that is it's not a good plan. I see why people book it during the Christmas break rather than the first week or so of January.
Yeah, for sure. Was it still all Christmas setup and all that, or they take it all down?
Yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah, because we were gonna try to go to December to see that. And they still had it all set up, which we didn't know, so that was a pleasant surprise. So yeah, we did every park still had all the Christmas stuff. So that was
Nice.
good stuff. And I showed up. We have prospecting sessions with our teams. We all jump in a Google Meet and kind of just make the calls. And I was on the ride there, and I jumped in. And I had the kids in the background. They were waving. They know some of my team leaders, and still showing up. And that's one of my team members said, "Oh, you're not making the calls today," and I said, "Yeah, but I'm here." And I coached one of them on one of the calls, like while in the car driving. My hands were on the wheel. I was looking at the road just for safety's sake.
Those are fancy.
And I challenged them right back, a little give and take. I said, "But I bet you if you were on the way to Disney with your family, you wouldn't even jump in here." And they were like, "No, no, you're right, I wouldn't." So I'm still committed, even though, we take the trips. But I think that's the part of having that honestly, that burning desire. That's one of the things. Talk about reading books, right? Everybody talks about Think and Grow Rich, and I've said it before, but that's one book I didn't even really like. I actually quit halfway through because I didn't need it at all, because that is literally the definition of everything I've done in my life. Like I tell Brittany all the time, I'm like, if I want something, I make it happen. Pure, like how I got her. Like it was a burning desire as a high school kid. Like there was zero getting in my way of me getting that girl. Like it became everything. It was like Inception happened. You know what I'm saying? So like, but that's an important trait, and I think one that a lot of people are missing is that burning desire. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, if you think it and you believe it, you can achieve it, right? That book hit me. I kind of, the first time I got it, I couldn't really get through it too. I don't know if it just wasn't, right place, right time for it. But I picked it up a couple times, and I try to read it at least once a year. Even though that it's from like the 20s, it still has principles that are super applicable today. And like you said, a lot of it is that burning desire and just perseverance and the grit and never giving up and staying the course, right? So many times we get detoured, right? And it's hard to keep track and it's hard to stay focused. But I forget what the quote is now. I'm losing it, but it's like just if you just stay dedicated to one thing, and you just focus all your attention on that, you're going to hit your goal. The problem is that we get shiny object syndrome and who knows what, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, maybe I could tweak it, maybe I could do this, maybe I could do that.
Well, and we say that we're committed to one thing, but I think there's a difference between let's put it this way: there's a difference between 90% and 100%. There's a difference between 95% and 100%, and there is still a difference between 99% and 1%. So or and 100%. Sorry, I think I said 1% there, but you get the gist. And I think that's, definitely something that's resonating with me. I look at 2023, and there was definitely some major mistakes made. I think what happened was everybody goes, "Oh, the market, the market." Yeah, sure, the market there was less, but what happened was the market exposed you, as a lot of people had said. The tide went out, and we saw who was swimming naked. And make no mistake, there was areas of my business that I was swimming naked, and one of them that was the worst was I was trying to put into all these different buckets. Um, and going into 24, the biggest thing for me is just simplicity. Um, and it's definitely changed the game, because like realizing, you listen to a lot of the Hermosi stuff, one, what is it? One product, one channel, one avatar, build that up to like you can do a million in income in almost any one channel, or one product, one channel, one avatar. Like almost anything you're thinking. Running a team, you can do a million in income. Solo agent, you can do a million in income. um, you know other business recruiting, like to a downline, you can do a million in income. Building your own brokerage, you can do a million in income. So if you get it there, um, the cool part is when, then once it's stable and you've built it, then you can start to expand into other things, and you have proof of, like, let's go. I don't like theory. I try to stay out of theory anymore. Let's say you built a million in GCI solo agent business, or I shouldn't even say GCI. Let's say net income. That's pretty sick, right? Now you want to go recruit to your brokerage, or your team, or your downline. It's how much easier is it to say, this is exactly what I did to make $1 million in 12 months, than this is the theory of what to do to make $1 million in 12 months, right? And then how much easier is it to do title, situations or lender situations when you have a stable, consistent, production-based business, as opposed to a theory-based business. So, I think one of my mistakes was maybe, I talk about team members that leave a team too soon. I probably tried to do different channels, different products, too soon. And that you pay the price of the detour, as you kind of were talking about with that.
Yeah, for sure. Two things there. I mean, just to touch on, I think, the Zillow, the Realty.com, the Realtor.com, a lot of those lead sources are kind of, not giving you as much bang for your buck lately, right? So what happened was a lot of these teams, and I'm guilty of it. I'm sure you're guilty of it too. We're relying on those leads coming in, and it took away from the fundamentals of actually working it. Like I had our team Tuesdays yesterday, and it's like, oh well, this lead source, there's only been like one or two a day or whatever coming through from it, and I'm like, well, how many do you have in your database now? Well, 500. Well, what do you need one more for? You know what I mean? It's like,
Right.
what are you doing with all the stuff that you have? It's kind of like, we get away from those basics and those fundamentals of just, follow up with the people that you have. You have 500, one more or anything new. It's like, oh, that new one, that's the one. But in reality, it's still, that new one is the 1 out of 300, or, 3 out of 100, 1 out of 30. Could be, you know what I mean? So it's not, but it's new. You know what I mean? So instead of taking that focus and, like, kind of like you're saying, not detouring from the path, it's like everybody kind of, I want that, or go from there.
Well, yeah, and the market made us look that way a lot. That 100% was a big mistake of mine, was that I had a lot of Zillow, and a lot of it's ready, short-term gratification, instant gratification. But there are low-hanging fruits that come from Zillow. Like, it's just what it is. But when the market shifted, there was pretty much no fruit, and the cost was insane. But like you said, I watched the agents, I watched myself get, in a sense, spoiled and away from the activities that really keep you in the business, I would say, and let you not need a lead source if you have enough in the database. But you look at work in the database for a second, and you compare it to an inbound Zillow that's ready to rock. And I think what's important to note there is, like, there's low hanging fruits in the database too. Let's say you have a 500 size sphere database, 5% of that's going to convert in the next 12 months. That's what most studies show. So, but regardless of that, there's people in there that have come like the right, you need the perfect storm with somebody. It's not like you can sell somebody a phone that they didn't realize that they actually need like right now or whatever, but you can make them realize they need it. You can create a need. Like for a house, like it's like we need to move because of a job, we need to move because of a family change or situation. Like you can't like somebody coming to you as a lead, you're not going to like make them have that perfect storm happen.
Yep.
We're more just service-based guide, right? So there's low-hanging fruits, though, in the database, too. Like, if you just take a sample size of human beings, whether they're coming in inbound on Zillow or they're in your database, there are people that the perfect storm have happened and it's time for them to buy. But what's easier? The new lead that doesn't know who you are, that you're just like it seems like some paid, hourly person that represents Zillow is what it seems like to them. Anybody that's taking Zillow leads know, but you become Uber for Zillow. Or somebody in your database that you have been emailing. They might have seen your social content. They might know you. They might be a past referral. You might have been dripping on them from Zillow for 3 years, right? There's some awareness there. It's way easier to create that, you're more of an authority figure in their mind. And they look at you more than just you as Uber. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're building the relationship. You're putting a name to the face. That's why, we had the talk yesterday. It's like all about providing value. I mean, real estate is going to be secondary. It's all about just helping people. However, we could help anybody with anything. That's what we're looking to do. And, instead of being, down their throats with like, oh, you want to go see houses or you're thinking about buying or selling. It's going to be like all kind of stuff with like, just, hey, here's the process. Here's this information on this. Here's this information on that. We kind of talk a lot about it with, privately about like 10 days of pain, kind of follow up and stuff. And then just getting that first in-person conversation, right? Doing a buyer consultation meeting, walking people through the whole steps of the process, getting them set up with a lender. A lot of people are scared they might not have the greatest credit, right? And not even want to take that first initial step. They just might not know we have free credit repair program, that, they could walk them through, tell them exactly what they need to get them pre-approved and, get them going. There's just different avenues if you just provide value and just not, try to date before you marry.
Well, that's the thing. And that's one thing I've always kind of naturally been good at, but haven't really like I think back to when I converted a lot of Zillow leads, and for some agents in my office, when I did that, they didn't have success with Zillow. I mean, part of it was I listened to their calls. And they're like, well, are you pre-approved? Are you pre-approved? Like, I'm not working with you until like they came at them with this, and I was a little more smooth, just like, well, have you talked with a lender? Yeah. I was more like chill, and that was part of it. But when I really think about it, it's the same. Like, I say there's a difference between 99% and 100%. And, the same thing there goes, like, there's a difference between saying you're just going to provide value for them and actually just separating like your money needs and your personal needs away from the consumer. Like, we're a service-based business. And even when I've been through many ups and downs financially in my real estate career, when I've been at the worst of the worst, when I come into the office or the phone calls or whatever, like, I totally leave that at the door and I'm just authentic. Like, I'm just like, because I just don't know how not to be, like, personally, So when I think that is a huge, like, it's something that you can get the concept, but to truly like live it is hard for people, especially whenever, I mean, you got to pay the bills. Like, I understand. I've been there. I understand.
You don't want to be too salesy, right?
Right.
Like, we're talking about like objection handlers, and I had one of the team members say like, what do you say when somebody just says that they're just looking? I said, great. What are we looking for? Like, have that conversation like a normal human being. You know what I mean? I think people overthink like the room and stuff, and then try to memorize like a 60 paragraph script, and then you come off as like some kind of info robot where it's like you get those calls and there's a big delay, and it's like, hey, Chad, I hope you're having a great day today. And it's like, as soon as you hear that shit, you're just like, fucking, I'm hanging up, man. I'm not dealing with this shit, you know?
Just
Uh,
calling to check in on your search, see if I can help you, like, yeah, and I think I love the just looking, because that's, you guys want to take something from this, anybody tuning in on this podcast, you want to take something and apply it back to your business right now. Anybody that says just looking, say, cool, what areas are catching your attention? Or what homes, what's your top 3 that you've seen? I'm always curious what people think of the market currently. Like, what, ask them valid questions
yeah.
about just general, like, if you're at a birthday, I always like the birthday party thing, because I don't know, maybe because I have kids and we go to a birthday party every weekend.
There's always a party.
Right. But if you're at a birthday party, like, and ask somebody, like, what areas, do you think are the best right now? Like, what do you think of this area over there and the new restaurant they put there? Like, there's going to be a conversation. So if you just ask them questions that are not, when are you going to buy with me? Or at least that they can't see that. Not that you're trying to hide it. It's just, at least that it's authentically like a conversation. You're going to get a conversation. And when you get a conversation, you build rapport. And when you build rapport, they will open up to you. And I literally did it last week. I had a lead that I brought through that talk track, which of these catch your eye? Which areas are you liking? Oh, I know it's gotten super pricey over there. Tell me about it. It's crazy. They said a location and said, oh, it's pricey. And then I just was having just general curiosity towards the person. And then they spilled their beans. Everything was spilled. Well, I'm not able to buy until then because of this and I got everything I wanted because I just had curiosity.
Mm-hmm. Active listening. I also like, what'd you find that's good? Right? When they're searching like that, like, just have the general conversations. Like, right now, like, the title, The Grind. I mean, objection handlers right now is the grind, right? You got to overcome a couple things. One, oh, I didn't mean to click on that, or whatever, right? Or I accidentally clicked on that. I don't know how I got my info. It's like, well, and we could talk if you want. We could go down those objection handlers, or it's like, okay, the market interest rates are this. How are you going to get over that objection? A lot of people don't know that, some of our lenders have you have those buy down programs. One of the lenders that we have has a program where you could do unlimited refis for free. Like, so
like
if the
that.
rates go down, it's like, people are like, oh shit. So do you want to be competing now? I'd say lock in the house now at the higher interest rate and then refinance when the rates go down. Or do you want to be competing with everybody else that's on the fence waiting? And then now you're going to have this big surge of competition. And what happens with competition? Prices are going to go up. I mean,
it's important to say to people, but I think you can have, my big thing with that is, like, as soon as they start into that, I'm like, well, but what's the goal? Like, why do you want to move? Like, you've got to get to that, because you, like, the market, like you said, yeah, like, if they're, just some, like, waiting for a deal. Well, okay, so what? Why? You're an investor? Like, you need to make, okay, no, I'm just buying for my family. Okay, well, if you're in a house for like over 3 years, almost any market, you're probably not going to get hurt. Like, over 5 for sure. So, and that's something I say to anybody. It's like, yeah, there's, but if you're not like sitting there investing, like, and you're just buying for you, like, I know it's an investment, but I mean, like, investing, like, to turn over, like, buy and sell immediately, or to buy a rental property, where, like, these small differences, you're going to pay the price of the detour if you sit there for us 5 or 10 grand, which we've all seen as agents. But I think the way to communicate to people that that's such a big deal is just, like, explain to them, look, homes have historically appreciated at around 3%. There are ups and downs in the market. If you're in a home for about at least 3 years, you're probably going to be fine. 5 years for sure. And what's your plan in this home? Is it going to be a 5 or 10-year home? Yeah, I plan on it for the next week. Okay, then you're pretty safe, like, and I think, like, that for me, that specific line of talk has helped a lot with people.
I like the one, like, what are you looking to do? We're just here to help.
Right.
Kind of just having that conversation. Like I said, is there a different life event that you need help with? Because, just the different ways in the life cycle of a transaction. You know, you have lenders, you have lawyers, you have all this kind of stuff. Kind of gets overwhelming for people, and they're like, I don't even know where to start. You know, it's kind of like you know, if you're getting big on the fitness stuff. Like, where do I start? Right? How do I get help with what I'm looking to do and hit my goal? It's like, if you don't know where the end point is, you're not going to be able to navigate to that. So trying to get just figuring out where's the destination, you know. I forget that Yogi Berra quote, but it's like, you know, something along the lines of like, I didn't know where I was going. That's the best way to get where you've never been, or something like that. It's like, but if you have that destination and you have that goal, you could, you know, help them meet that. But half the battle is trying to get the guard down to come across it.
Right, right. So the grind, you know, like, you know, you set a vision, you know, a mission, and you start to, you know, run through it, and you're in that mix, you're in that just ugly work in front of you, you know, but you know it's necessary. What's your main way to get through the boring, monotonous part of the grind that you know is necessary?
Yeah, I mean that's a great question, right? I think you have to have a good why, right? Like, why are you even doing this? You know, and another thing to touch on before that is, you know, the boring stuff is what works. You know, doing that boring, repetitious stuff every single day and just grinding it out is going to get you successful. It's when you try to deviate from that and try to add the shiny object where you're gonna miss the point. But you know, for me personally, my why, you know, I got a 2-year-old, right? I have 18, 13, and 2. You know, my why is, you know, okay, I want to be there. I want to be, you know, fitness is a big thing for me. Now that, you know, I want to be there when she graduates. I want to walk her down the aisle. That's a big why for me. So that I want to take my fitness and health much more seriously than I did, you know. Business related reasons, like, you know, with the team members, just seeing them grow. That's a huge why for me. Like, like I don't need financially to have the team. You know, I'm okay. You know, I don't have to be, you know, doing the training or being in the trenches and all that kind of stuff. But it's like, you know, my why is like, you know, when I hear, you know, text messages from them where, you know, they're having success, or, you know, an agent, you know, she was kind of on the fence with, you know, doing her trainings and stuff like that, not really jumping into it. And then she jumped in, and, you know, she's like blowing me away, like how fast she's like come along after she did it, and just seeing that progress. Like, that's a huge why for me right now. Just seeing, like, you know, other people succeed is awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, I think we're definitely similar with some of that. And I could, well, so, you know, I mean, my easy answer though to getting through the grind, ready for the pro tip? It's a lot of coffee. Yes.
For sure.
Coffee and Celsius. I'm addicted to them Celsiuses though. Those are good. Oh man, Brittany had those, and I was like, you know what? These are dumb. They're like a Jolly Rancher dipped in water, like a White Claw or something. And then after I had one, I was just hooked. I have like a Celsius a day now. Plus
Here,
3 or 4 cups of
here's a
coffee.
pro tip too. Like I said, throw something in there like that you enjoy, right? So mine is like fucking terrible with chocolate. So I'll have my coffee and chocolate as a reward for doing the little things that I know I need to do to move the needle.
Like it.
Yeah, not great for the diet. Got to, but hey, if I'm going to be doing the work, I like to have some kind of reward. Like, okay, but once I get done with A, B, and C, coffee and chocolate, and that's a great way to start the day.
It is, and I think rewarding the activities that create that goal is the key, you know, or that sale, you know, and you can even do that internally. And but yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you on watching people become better. But like, I think that's the best part about real estate is, like, you even look at people making a purchase decision. I think back to that's when that was only, you know, my only focus. I know that they were better off than the rental that they were in, or the other house that they might have decided to buy without me when they had my guidance. I know the real estate. I know the 5 houses that I've bought, lived in for 2 years and 1 day to avoid capital gains tax, do the cosmetics, and semi flipped, have absolutely been, maybe 25% of why I'm in the financial goodness I'm in, right?
Yeah.
Um, it was just as big of a part to my success as selling homes solo, as running a team, as having agents partner with us at EXP, um, buying my own homes was a huge stepping stone into that. But, you see that, so you see it make people a better person that way. And I think that's it. That's why like the team is so interesting. It's like we talked about it, I think last week. Solo agent, when you look at net income, at least on the short term, like it might be the better route a lot of times. But it's kind of no fun to win alone. I know a
Mhm.
brokerage can solve some of that, but the best part about a team is, like you said, when you get to see someone's life change in front of your eyes with the model and the vessel and the things that you gave them, and not just financially, just like when you see them change. And that's probably why EXP is so genius, because I look at myself and it was able to do it with me, where I came in with a big ego, me, very selfish when I came in, very not focused on fitness, love to just drink and party. And I fast forward 7, 8 years later at EXP, and it's not like, EXP is the only path to becoming it, but I'm sure all brokerages have had a good arc and an example of that. So, no EXP specific, but like, I don't, the focus is not drinking and party. I'm all about health and fitness. I check my ego at the door for the most. Everybody still has some level of ego, right? But I'm aware that people are way better than me. um, and the selfishness is totally gone. Like, I'm all about help everybody. So, it's done a total 180 for me. So that's what's fun. I think, seeing that personal growth.
Yeah.
Um, Real
And it's
estate is just a breeding ground for
it's
that.
little things. Like I said, this company will humble you really quickly when you think that you're the top dog coming from, maybe a small mom and pop brokerage where you're doing, 5 to 10 mil, and then you come in and you see some of the numbers that people are putting up, and you're just like, whoa. But like I said, uh, that's the best way to get from A to B is to learn from people that are giving away their secrets of, how they did it. Help me grow. But like I said, just small wins with the team. Yesterday we were just doing our team calls and, just getting in there and pumping everybody up when, they're having some success and setting up the meetings and all that kind of stuff. I mean, that's kind of where it's at right now. I'm super pumped with it, just helping people grow and help train them up and get them going. And, like I tell them, like, I'm trying to help you grow your businesses. It's a long game. You're not going to be with me forever. Think of it as like children and a parent. Eventually, you're going to go off and do your own thing.
I think the best part about a team is those first couple years in particular, or maybe somebody that's like got their engine installed it and got their engine installed it a couple times. Those are the best candidates, I think, for a team. And the reason is it just shortcuts a lot of the getting to what works, or helping them focus on what works. Like, we actually, Freddie and I were just talking about this, but almost all the team members, they value the money we spend in lead generation. Like, that's what they value. Like, oh, he's willing to buy leads or pay marketing dollars for Facebook leads or whatever. Just spend money on
Mm.
leads. But we do that so that they shut up. And if you're listening, listen, because it's important. Like, if it's a team member that's listening, the value is not the leads that we pay for or generate, and like, that's not the value is the time that we give and the experiences that we're giving. We're shortcutting the lessons that we learned with the scar, so that hopefully you learn that lesson that we learned without the scar. Like,
Yep.
that's the goal.
We do the same thing with the, our buyers and sellers, like you said. And the key comes back to experience. Like you said, you're doing some live-in flips. You could kind of talk on that and tell your clients about the experience with that. One thing that resonates a lot with my clients is I invest in real estate, So when they see that I'm in the weeds doing it themselves and I know the processes, I got the boots on the ground, I know how to make money doing that. They're like, okay, you've done it, obviously, so help me do it. And it's like, look I'll show you everything that I'm looking to do. And they're like, well, you're investing in the same area as I am. I'm like, there's a million fish in the sea. There's always going to be another rental property. I'm not Donald Trump where I could buy up, 50 million properties or whatever, and I always defer the property to my client. I'm like, look, this is a good one. Jump on it before it's gone. They decide not to, and I grab it. But for the most part, I always give them first cracks at it. And then, my investor portfolio is good, and my investor clientele is great because I said the best thing about that is if you're making money, right, and you're building your business up, you're going to be happy, and then you're going to buy more stuff with me. So it's in my best interest to help you in the long term, because then you're going to be telling your friends about how much you made with me, and then you're going to be using that, and it's all just an experience in a life cycle like that. But it's just grinding it out, like you said.
Well, and to the point about the experience, learning from somebody who's experienced and doing what you want to do, like here, I'll prove it to you right here if you're listening. Book a trip to a place you haven't been. And I just did this recently. I already know this, but I did this, and I want to prove this is such a point that anybody can understand. What's oh no, not I've been to Punta Cana actually. Nashville. Never been to Nashville, right? But I have a friend who's been there. I have two friends that's been there. One that's been there and one that's lived there. So I started looking it up real quick, like where do I Google Maps, and again, there's a lot of information out there. And it's much easier today than it ever was to find that stuff. But I was 7 minutes in because I was waiting on a return call from this person. I got that call from a friend, talked to him for about, honestly, a minute and a half, and I knew everything: where I need to go, where I need to avoid, what restaurants are good. A minute and a half, knew the vibes, all the things, until AI just takes over, but like that was so much quicker. And it's like proven, not theory, like somebody that's been there, been down the wrong street, it's the same thing. It's the same exact thing. So, if you don't think what we're saying is true, go book a trip to a place you haven't been and try to discover the places to go, the places to eat, where to stay, what the vibe is on your own, or go call somebody who has been there and tell me which is faster.
Yeah, it just opens up the awareness of what you don't know. I have a team member that's transitioning from team to solo, and it's like, oh my God, I didn't even realize I have to do A, B, C, and D because you always did it, right? So now I have to kind of let her learn on their own and can't just kind of be that crutch. And it's like, look at it. It's not that I don't want to help you. It's that I got to show you, I got to teach you now how to be a solopreneur. You know what I mean? And it's, I got to love them well that way. But let's wrap it up with this. What's one tip if you're going to tell anybody about, the grind, right? What's one tip to help them out with the daily grind?
One tip.
You want me to go first? Well, I'll let you think. All right.
Yeah.
So my one thing is actually the one thing from Gary Keller, the book, The One Thing, Jay Papanon. So basically he says, what's one thing that you could do every day that if everything else was kind of pointless, it'd help you move the needle. And I totally butchered that line. But basically time blocking, right? Set that time block in your day. So then that way you hit that daily grind and all those activities are built into your calendar already. So then, a lot of people call them their non-negotiables, but set your calendar up for success. Set your day up for success. And if you built in that grind time into your calendar every day, that's one step ahead of the game.
So I wanted to say what I wanted to say, but it just felt so stupid and bland, but I think I have a way to explain it now. Once you asked me what I wanted to say, immediately was it's necessary. It's necessary. But to explain that is that where you want to go, that grind is necessary. So, and why I say it, why I bring it up is so many agents get distracted. Life will punch back at you. Like kids get sick, financial predicaments get hard, like all these things. And you look at these people that have the success you want, and you think they didn't have to deal with that. And if you're not seeing it, you're blind, because we all have those same things. The only difference between them and you is that they didn't let life beat them down. Like I always say that life tries to, you're like fired up, you get your lead generation going, you're ready to do the grind. This is just an example. And you get sick. You get the flu, your kids get sick. It's going to happen. It's not going to stop happening ever. Like when have you ever been in your position in your life where you're like, I am perfect. I have all week to just do everything. Get out of here. You know what I do? I get mad. I get mad as hell at life because I feel it punching. And I'm like, no, I'm going to punch right back and I'm going to punch harder. There ain't no way in hell you're getting in my way because this is necessary. So that's my time.
No, I like it. I'm going through that as an old man now with getting more physically fit. I'm fucking sore, man. Dude, I'm sore like all over every day. And I'm like, I got to push through it. And I got, I'm like, okay, well, at least I know what muscles I'm working, but I mean, it's horrible. But got to grind it out and just get back out there.
I mean, when it's that, everybody wants this image of success, whatever it is, whether it's financial or time freedom or this or that or blah, blah, blah. And you literally can just do the grind to get what you want. And you don't realize it's necessary to get it. Like not a option. It's necessary. So commit to what's necessary and shut up otherwise.
Yeah. Set it as your non-negotiable and make it happen, peeps.
Love it. All right, man. Well, thanks for doing it. We'll be back for number 9 next week. We got a lot in the pipes for this year, so we're going to bring you guys some value. Stay tuned to SharkNation Live. Check us out on the web and all the good stuff. Find us, shoot us a message if you have any topics you want discussed. We'll see you next week.
Peace out.